Now we are going to continue discussing Liverpool. Are they Man City's biggest challengers for the title this season?
Are Liverpool going to win the league this year? Right, that's the question. Obviously will have a far better chance with Salah in the team. Are they kissing their chances goodbye if they sell him? Possibly.
It's Darwin Núñez. Newcastle 1, Liverpool 2.
Liverpool 3, Aston Villa 0, and it had been coming, and it's Mo Salah, the man who gets it.
The way we've started so far is 10 times better than Liverpool started last season. You know, they look solid. A little bit worried about the defence, but going forward, they look strong.
Liverpool can go top of the table tomorrow. They beat Wolves. It is a lunchtime kickoff and it's live and exclusive on TalkSport as well. What do they lack, do you think, Liverpool? Because I know you firmly believe that Arsenal are the team that can challenge. And rightly so, like Arsenal pushed City all the way. They've added to their squad as well. Some good players have come in. I know Timber's injured, but when he's back, he's going to be good. And obviously Declan Rice is Declan Rice. What do Liverpool lack, do you think?
I think it's a really interesting one. Liverpool, it's not what do they lack.
It must be what they lack.
No, it's not. I don't think it's as obvious as that, because what we've learned about Liverpool this year is absolutely nothing. We know that Liverpool can score goals. We know that they have a vast array of goal-scoring talent. You know, the goals galore in that team, and they have demonstrated that so far this season.
What about the grit, though? Remember, down to 10 men in a couple of games.
Look,
so the grit.
But again,
I think they questioned that, no?
No, I don't think that I would ever suggest a team that is managed by Jurgen Klopp isn't going to have the dog in it. I don't think that a team managed by Jurgen Klopp is ever going to be easily beaten. You know, Jurgen Klopp spoke about a Liverpool team that has, you know, there is some overlap of players as being mentality monsters, having that ability to go again. And we've seen Liverpool do that under Klopp time and time again. They got to a European Cup final. They lost in terrible circumstances in Kiev. And what happened the following year? They bounced back and won it. They went all the way against Manchester City in the Premier League, didn't they? They competed with Manchester City. They got a ridiculous points tally and they didn't win the league. What happened? They bounced back the following year and won it at a canter very early as well. Yeah. So we know that this Liverpool team are resilient.
Of this team, nobody can question it. We've done it before. We can do it every single time. I think the resilient part is really the important part, but this is the difference. This is Liverpool 2.0. It's a new Liverpool from the Liverpool we've come to know for a long period of time. So would they be the same? That is the question that we can say we have to actually have an answer. We might say that they might challenge for the league, but they are those small little questions that still needs to be clarified first before we start shouting that we can win the league. I believe we could challenge, but winning it, let's wait and see. Listen to what Rory is about to say.
We know that Jurgen Klopp is a genius, and we know that he can be incredibly resilient as well. What I believe this Liverpool team lack isn't goals at all. It can score goals for fun. You know, you look at the players that Liverpool have on the bench, there's goals all over that front line. Yeah. They're such a top-heavy team. Where I believe it's not necessarily that they're lacking, it's just where they're slightly more vulnerable. It's just where they don't have the quality.
Where?
Centre-half. Yeah. I think centre-half, you're not going to like it because Liverpool fans are quite protective about even a conversation.
What, Virgil van Dijk?
Yeah, just a conversation around Virgil van Dijk.
I think there is a conversation around Virgil van Dijk. Look, I mean, Liverpool fans are not silly. He's not the Virgil van Dijk we thought he was 3 years ago.
No.
In terms of you can't beat him for pace, you can't do anything to get past him. Clearly, there's been a regression there. I always say with Virgil van Dijk, it's sometimes I feel like he struggles because there's not a consistent centre-back partner with him.
That's possible.
It seems to be changing every single week.
But you know when you're a centre-half, and if you think about like the greatest centre-halves, whoever you define to be that greatest centre-half, part of the reason that they are so great is because they have this immense aura. The aura sets the tone.
You don't think he has that?
I don't think he has it to the level that he did. You know, at one point, Sol Campbell, particularly in his Arsenal days, he was immense, wasn't he? Yeah. There were times for England where he was just immense. I think people, I've often would hear my dad talk about Des Walker, immense. Tony Adams, immense. John Terry, immense. Rio Ferdinand, immense. I don't think that we can call Virgil van Dijk immense today.
Wait. There's not 3 centre-backs in the Premier League better than Virgil van Dijk.
There aren't 3 centre-halves. I mean, there's 2 at Man City.
Who are the 2 at Man City? There's 1 at Man City.
Ruben Diaz and John Stones.
John Stones is not a better centre-back than Virgil van Dijk.
What?
No, he's not.
John Stones isn't a better centre-back.
He's not.
I think you could have a conversation whether John Stones is the best centre-back in the league.
Well, yeah, but
You could have a conversation whether...
You certainly can have that conversation, but you can
No.
also have that conversation about Virgil van Dijk.
No, but you could...
You can have a conversation with Virgil van Dijk.
But you conceded Diaz.
John Stones is not a better... Yeah, Diaz.
You conceded
I think
Diaz,
Diaz
but I think I could argue that John Stones is the best centre-half in the league. I think you could easily argue that John Stones is better than Diaz.
You can argue. I think anyone that's a top 5 centre-back in the Premier League, which I think John Stones is, you can make an argument to say they are the best centre-back
John
in the league.
Stones is undoubtedly a better centre-half today. Yes,
Dijk.
he is. He absolutely is. Look, you could...
I think Virgil van Dijk's standards were so high that when it is a little drop-off, and it's a drop-off, he's almost now a level playing field with everyone else. He was way, way above them all. And I think he's dropped off a little bit. Now he's in the mix with them all. And he's in the mix
He's
with
not in the
Ruben
mix
Diaz
with he's not in the mix with Stones and Diaz. They're clear. Stones and Diaz are so clear of him. And then I think you could start talking about where Akanji fits into this. Genuinely, I think that the level...
You can have that conversation with yourself.
Well, the level of performance last year, when we talk about Manchester City, I think we always focus on the brilliance and the goal scorers. The last season, it was the beauty of Riyad Mahrez and the penetration of Jack Grealish and the wonderful unpredictability of Phil Foden, and obviously the finishing ability of Erling Haaland. But what we don't talk about with Manchester City is their stinginess. They are so miserly, they don't give goals away.
See to be that good when if you're a Kanji, you've got Diaz or you've got Stones next to you, you've got Rodri in front of you.
We can explore why.
There's a lot of that around.
We can explore why.
You keep the ball 90% of the time as well.
Addy, I'm prepared to concede that we can explore why various players are in the form that they're in. But the point has to remain that the form they're in is far better than Van Dijk's.
Virgil van Dijk slips a little bit, but I think he slipped from such a lofty standard, such a high standard, that he's now with the
He's not with them.
Virgil van Dijk 3 years ago was the best centre-back in the Premier League by some distance.
Totally agreed.
And now he's in the pack with your Diaz. Now I'll put Saliba in there as well.
He slipped far lower than that.
Oh, stop it.
Stop. He has.
Oh, come on.
Virgil van Dijk.
He's made a couple of mistakes. He made a couple of mistakes, which they all do, by the way, which don't get highlighted. He's made a couple of mistakes and all of a sudden he's slipped.
No, Virgil van Dijk hasn't made a couple of mistakes. I mean, even this season, getting sent off could have cost his team a victory there. This isn't the performance of a top tier centre half. And like I said, when I introduced this topic, I said you're going to get annoyed because there seems to be this weird protective...
No, I said, the first thing I said when you said it was, I said it, before you even mentioned his name, I said Virgil van Dijk. Because I know Virgil van Dijk has slipped a lot, but I'm not having that. I'm not having John Stones as a better centre-back than Virgil van Dijk.
John Stones...
I'll give you Rodri, and Arsenal fans will talk about Saliba. I'll give you Ruben Diaz, and that's it. That's the guaranteed one.
John Stones is clear of Van Dijk. John Stones is so clear of Van Dijk.
He's not clear of Van Dijk.
He is. Virgil van Dijk is not in good form, and this isn't a temporary thing. This is a season-long thing. And John Stones was integral to Manchester City winning a treble. John Stones is so clear of Virgil van Dijk.
Well, look, we're gonna.
Look, if you think about what Manchester City do, they don't concede goals. Akanji, Stones, Diaz, they all had far better seasons than Virgil van Dijk. I have no dog in this fight, Eddie. I don't even care.
No, and I'm saying the reason that I even think Ruben Diaz is a fantastic centre-back is because of what's around him as well.
On AM, on DAB.
Come on. Why are you trying to trigger Liverpool fans? Why are you always working so hard to trigger the Liverpool fans? You cannot come on live radio and tell me that John Stones is a better defender than Virgil van Dijk. I can agree with Ruben Diaz. I cannot accept that you tell me that John Stones and you cannot tell me that John Stones, even Akanji, are better than Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk, of course, he set his standard so high that now so many people are busy comparing him from his former self, and that injury might have something that he has done to affect him, but come on, now that he's at the level with other defensive midfielders, you want to compare him with the likes of Akanji, the likes of Stones. Come on, they are good defenders, I'm not disagreeing that, but you cannot compare them to Virgil van Dijk. And you cannot be saying things like, I cannot, for the sake of me, even come to an agreement with what you're saying. Virgil van Dijk is a good centre-back, and I feel like you are in this weird rampage just to try to trigger the Liverpool fan. all over the world so that you hear that response. And maybe you're even doing it to even try to nag or even try to hurt Adi over there, because it doesn't even make sense what you're trying to say. It doesn't even make sense that you want to tell me that Virgil van Dijk is not the best, even one of the best centre back in the Premier League. The only player who I can say is above Virgil van Dijk at this moment is Ruben Diaz, and from then I don't see anyone like him. I don't see anyone like him, and you have to understand that that's a fact. Virgil van Dijk had reached a level that nobody could come close to him, but you cannot compare him to the likes of him. Come on, Stones, Akanji, even Saliba, he's not even at the level of Virgil van Dijk, and all the Arsenal fans knows it. Come on, man. Come on.